Alright, we are back here to do another film review, which is Angels Fallen. As always, this is a German copy because the Germans love physical media. I will say, thank you, Germany. You've always got to be physical copies, even when the film is not so great. I'm not a big fan of this cover, just because I think this cover's a bit of a lie. It's got a cool look to it, and it's just like, that's not really in the film. This weird tower thing, it makes no fucking sense. It's just a giant big metal tower, like, cross. One of the main characters is just on it, like, standing on it. And then finds out where the enemies are, and then they never really go onto this cross again. They use a little mini cross on the cross to find the enemies. And you're like, firstly, how'd you get up there? How are you walking on it as if it's like perfectly fine when it looks, just like a metal wireframe? So it looks like you just go, you just go, so you're just like, your legs go, anyway, yeah. I like the fact it's just like the names on the top are just like not any of the main characters or even the main actor. You got Eric Roberts barely in it. He's in it like at the start. Michael Madsen is in a little bit more. Not a whole lot. Yeah, again, he's mostly there. So they could put his name on the front cover. And I don't know Li Jing. I can't even I think I remember. I think she's the one who's mostly a stunt performer. She's in a lot of stuff, but she's not an actor. But if you look at her credits, it's like, ooh, well, that's impressive, because she's in a lot of big movies, doing stunts. I mean, not for acting. Next, it's kind of shaky. I mean, to be fair, most of those people in this, they're alright. But they're alright, mostly. Yeah. Basically, in this film, we're trying to track down the horses of the apocalypse, who were just kind of hanging around in this one country. Yeah, I think they're all happen to be in a Eastern European country, which is probably, they couldn't be asked to change any of the signs or anything, and just happened to be there. Not because it's really cheap to film in those kind of countries. Not that at all. Although I do. So talking about the location, there is quite a few scenes that are shot, one length of time in the theatre, in a really nice looking theatre. It was very pretty. I enjoyed that. I'm just saying that location looked great. The rest of them, but that one looked great mostly because they just used the theatre, and it was like, oh, that's a very nice, pretty theatre. As someone who works in the theatre, I'm like, that is a nice theatre. A very nice theatre. I like your theatre. Very nice. Other than that, the rest of it, man, doesn't look that great. There was some weird moments in the final climactic fight where you could definitely see, well, you see it's a ring of fire, but you can definitely see like the actual where they haven't comped out certain parts, and you're like, I can quite clearly see the metal ring that goes around this thing. There's just a few angles that are like, oh, did you run out of money for that one, or did you just not bother? most of the characters in this are pretty forgettable. In fact, it's so forgettable. Spoilers. The sequel just forgets about them. Forgets about them. It's just brilliant. To be fair, it mentioned them like once or twice, but that's about it. I don't think there's only one character that technically appears between two films, and that's played by a completely different actor. Somehow, spoilers for later. Somehow, Michael Madsen turns into Cuba Gooding Jr., which is impressive. But yeah, more on this film. Just thinking of this film. I like the main villain. I'm gonna go. Might go into spoilers. So if you have problems with that, look away. Otherwise, the main villain in this film is kind of main character's like good friend, and he's one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. He's basically the final horseman of the apocalypse, because the horsemen of the apocalypse are Hot Girl, Dole, Mute Child, and Australian guy who's like, you can't just speak with. He's very much, very kind of going that more posh British accent way, and you're like, yeah, makes sense. Obviously, he has to be kind of more British. Like I said, this film is largely forgettable. In fact, it's so forgettable I've forgotten the entire plot. Nah, right. It's about the Four Horsemen. It's just it doesn't quite fall into the like so bad it's good category. It just kind of, it's mostly meh. Like it falls into that kind of bit boring kind of character. And to be fair, maybe you might enjoy this more if you're religious inclined. It didn't feel heavy-handed with the religion, which I was kind of expecting. I was like, I'm going in this kind of film, I'm like, obviously that's kind of the plot, but like it's not super heavy-handed, which I was actually kind of shocked about and pleased. I will say, I was pleased that it wasn't as heavy-handed as it could have been, given that it is, you know, angels fighting demons and all against the apocalypse. So yeah, enjoyable. I think I've kind of exhausted what I want to talk about in this, so I'm going to say to you all, live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time for Angels Fallen, Warriors of Peace. I've forgotten the subtitle again with the angel with the fucking gun. That's almost like AI generated on there. I think it probably is. Honestly, I think that is AI generated. Anyway, bye.